Tranquility.
Hello, everybody. That was such a great game between Aimbots and Lobcats. Really down to the wire 4-0 between these two. Playoff future going to be crazy, isn't that right? My casting partner, Door.
Yeah, coming in 4-0 with the victory. Aimbots really needed that one for seeding. It'll give them great placements coming in here into the postseason.
Now we got to move on to the second match that we have today, which is Elusion versus Careless Pandas. Now this match is showdown right now that we've got. These two teams obviously looking to get playoff spots. The higher the seed, the better it is.
Yes, sir. Elusion looking to lock up that top 6, and Careless Pandas either trying to make their way into it or just get themselves some better seeding for play-ins. But both teams really have a lot riding on this match, and it's something that a team like Careless Pandas really wants to win since they're on the cusp of that top 6.
If we want to talk about players to watch, on Elusion, you've got Kurt. He's third place for midseason MVP, and that's no small deal. Midseason MVP we look at last season. Smugs won midseason MVP, ended up winning the whole thing. So depending how Kurt ends up in these future weeks, could end up being the whole MVP.
Yeah, he really could be. And ironically enough, a player necessarily not to watch tonight is player who won't be in the game. One of the biggest midseason pickups that we saw for any team on the side of Elusion will not be playing tonight. And that's maybe going to be largely in the favor of the Careless Pandas here, as they'll take anything they can get in a match like this.
I liked your pun. It was really low key.
Thank you. I like to keep it.
Oh yeah, Elusion actually. They've played a lot recently. They've played a lot of what you call lower table teams, teams that are typically on the end of the lower end of the standings, and then they lost to Maelstrom, which is obviously a higher table. And then the Pandas, if you kind of get rid of the first 2 weeks, which they had the Smurf, they've played and beat similar teams to Elusion, and they beat Maelstrom, who Elusion couldn't. How does that bode well for these two teams?
Yeah, I think Careless Panda really they've got a lot of momentum coming into this. Yes, they lost to Holy Jalapenos a couple weeks back, but other than that, they've been having a bunch of 4-0s against teams that are decently ranked against them. But Elusion hasn't really been challenged lately. Obviously, they had the loss to Maelstrom 2-3. But other than that, it was up against Boop, Jetpack, Cats, and Overtime, all of which Careless Panda similarly 4-0'd. So this will be a real gut check for Elusion here to see if they can really hold up against these more mid-table teams.
And between these two teams, is there anything that each of them need to prove to each other, to their opponents, and quite possibly the entire community?
I mean, I think Careless Pandas really has some to show. Obviously, they had a couple of losses earlier in the season, and they've kind of made their way back from those losses. But now is the time, right before the postseason, right, coming into these last weeks, that they really need to kick it into high gear and show us that they can continue on that upward trend and beat these upper table teams like Elusion.
And we want to mention about Memorex. Memorex, obviously a great player, something to look out for. We got, so if you want to pick a team between these two, who do you have taken the entire thing?
The entire thing, I mean, I think you really have to hand it over to Elusion. Obviously, 10-2 versus 7-5. Elusion comes in with an advantage, but I don't think it's nearly as large of one as the scoreline might tell you. I think Careless Pandas, obviously, Elusion playing a couple men down. Careless Pandas just want to play the same game that they've been playing and want to just show that they can be consistent here. And so the question is whether or not that consistency can lend itself to beating better teams or not.
And do you think you could see any of these teams really making like a playoff run?
I do think if anybody could do it coming into the that are sitting in more of a play-in position, it is Careless Pandas. Obviously, that upset against Maelstrom, they have this upset potential, and the question is, will they be able to do it going into the postseason?
Now we're coming in. Both of these teams really running that Orisa Hog. Elusion does have that Pharmacy, which Careless Pandas don't really have the hit scan to counter. They're going to be trying to find something.
Oh my god!
Memorex finding a kill immediately with the boop on Infinity. That golden just wasn't close enough, and already this fight is just going the way of Elusion.
You know, I think Elusion really set themselves up here. Obviously, it's a Nepal Sanctum. The more boops you run, the more you win. That's just how it works, right?
We don't want to not acknowledge Nixal's halt, which was a great halt right above the shield that Memorex was able to get that boop on.
Yeah, pretty much everything from the side of Elusion working together to get them off the edge of this map and making full advantage of this environment setup that they have.
Right now,
but the Doomfist coming out
as Infinity is able to find Kurt. We're looking for the Careless Pandas just pushing forward as they do find Kurt. Nick starts to push forward as Black Ninja's able to find the following kill onto Loyalty, but right now it's just looking on the side of Careless Pandas as it's only the Pharmacy available.
It is taking the point back quick and not allowing too much percentage to go the way of Elusion. And I think we'll see this Pharah struggle to get so much value pushing onto the point, holding it, and maybe the surprise factor had a decent bit to do with it. But the Doomfist and Soldier look like they'll be able to deal with it maybe a little bit more effectively here.
Obviously, we do see Careless Pandas on the Soldier countering that Pharmacy, and they're going to keep that Pharmacy as Black Ninja's going to come online with that barrage.
Yes, and Careless Pandas positioning themselves. Oh, and you hate to see it. Gecko finding the hook on a Loyalty basis, though.
That is great. And right now, Elusion are just going underneath, and that ult by Gethin. Here comes the barrage. Finds one, but is immediately traded. Kurt popping that high noon is able to find Bebop, and they're able to swap to the point, even though Careless Pandas have 3 alive.
These fights ending surprisingly early. We're seeing a lot of kills come out, and a lot of people left alive after the fight, surprisingly. I'd be interested to see what happens when a couple more ultimates are involved in this game.
And right now, Careless Pandas have a spy in the back line. Nebi gonna find something. Does get a punch onto the Orisa and is able to claim her life. That's something you want.
Yeah, and Careless Pandas are gonna want to take full advantage of this and use as few ultimates as possible out of the many that they have to maintain that ultimate advantage into these upcoming fights.
And that Tactical Visor looking to counter that Valkyrie Mercy. As right now for nobody's on the point for Careless Pandas, even though they've taken the point. And finally, with 76% on the side of Elusion, they're able to flip the point on their side.
And Careless Pandas maintaining 2 ultimates coming out of this fight. However, the support ultimate will be missing up against the high noon from Kurt.
There's where the Doomfist comes in really big, able to go through that shield and find Black Ninja. As right now, 2 are gone for Elusion, and this fight's over.
Yeah, it shows you really can't just rely on these environmental kills on the center of the map. With the Doomfist, you can play this doorway so aggressively, and ending fights early like that bodes extremely well for Careless Pandas and rolling with the ultimate economy.
Not many ults online for each side, as the Doomfist is just, it's not gonna work today.
He goes down real quick.
Shut down. So right now, Careless Pandas is just trying to back off that high noon. Is popped. Nixal just brought onto the point, was able to back off with a little bit of health, able to be healed up. And right now, both of those bongos are popped as Elusion comes right back onto the point.
It's interesting. We've seen pretty even fights from both sides every time a point is taken. However, they seemingly just end up going back and forth, which, considering the positioning that's available on Sanctum, is pretty interesting because the defenders can't have such an advantage with all these choke points.
You going into the last fights, these obviously have been really even, but a key factor have been the ults, and Elusion have them right now.
They're stacked up.
And Nebi trying to be that sneaky boy and is able to get picked off. Support ults are popped by Elusion. Bebop's ultimate is going to be CC, and right now it's just looking like Elusion's just going to take this round.
Yes, Elusion managing to take that point, and like you mentioned before the fight, there weren't too many ultimates in play, and that's what ended up being the detriment of Careless Pandas at the end there. Winning that fight pushed them into the advantage and allowed them to roll just a little bit more.
But obviously there's really nothing to, on Careless Pandas, look down upon. That was, I think, even as a fight as you could have it. Going back and forth. How many times did that point switch?
It had to be somewhere around 5 or 6. And I think if you're Careless Pandas, that's honestly, you're not too mad about that. Coming into this, that's maybe a little boost of confidence showing, hey, we can compete here with Elusion. This match is definitely not as easy as Elusion may have written it off to be.
But it's really interesting. We're seeing the Rein Zarya come out, which is obviously a little different than the Sigma Orisa that we've been seeing, which I'm, for one, would love.
I think we're wholly okay with this one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And now it will be Nebi's far up at the test, though.
Mm-hmm. DPS for Elusion are just, I mean, they're just gonna go down quickly. And right like that, Bebop's able to get that fire strike on Ivy Cat, but Elusion just finds two. They got angry. They said, "How dare you kill our Ana?" And
that's not quite overlooked.
It is not quite.
Careless Pandas just gonna look to get a little bit more value here.
Yeah, with little bodies on the point, Careless Pandas just have to back off.
Smartly so, not giving over too much of an ultimate advantage. They Elusion will have the Coalescence coming into the next fight, but not too much else on the side of the blue team.
Careless Pandas looking to scout on that point as Memorex pops the Coalescence. A little early, that fight not quite started, but seeing if he can get that healing off as the Pulse Bomb is able to find someone, but just not enough.
And I think we're seeing Pure here try and rotate around this point, try and get around the side of Elusion, but really struggling to find value inside of the backline on the Tracer. Oh, but a big ult from Nebi.
Nebi does find Nixal, and there's two traded on. Right now it's a 4v4 on point. We'll see who can get these picks on these point. As another trade again, a 3v3. Infinity does find Ivy Cat, and that means Elusion is just gonna have to back off.
Hopefully take this point if they don't step off for too long. And then we'll be at 50%. Careless Pandas will take the point, and hopefully they can learn from their mistakes of last round and try to roll a couple more of these fights, because if it ends up going the same way back and forth, it will end up being Elusion who takes the point again just because they got it first. Ooh.
Great nice shot by Black Ninja. Able to find the head of Pripper. And that's able, Elusion's just able to really capitalize on that one. They're just gonna rush onto the point.
Yeah, 2 fights in, you want to be getting a little bit more value from a Tracer than this. As the fight's going to be a big shatter. Oh, and a big shatter right
shatter. Oh, you thought that was big. Great job by Nixal.
That was beautiful. The shatter combined with the dynamite to put so much of a dent in the health bars of Careless Pandas. Finding a way to end that fight quickly and effectively and maintain ultimates. They do have 3 online. Meanwhile, as much as Careless Pandas does have 4 coming into this fight, Elusion could have ended up using more, and it could have been in a worse situation. And again, Black Ninja finding the headshot onto Pure.
That's just, they're just gonna have to back off. They do have that res available though, so they don't have to wait as much as they did. They're really gonna take that what do you call that? Non-elephant?
Non-elephant, I suppose it is.
Grabs are going to be traded with the Blizzard. Sonic beat drop. What did I forget? Is really going to be dropped by that Lucio. As here comes the barrage. Only going to be able to find Black Ninja as Elusion does find 2. Gecko finding 2. The tanks really able to show up in the kill feed as both of them find 4. And looks like this map is going Elusion's favor.
Yeah. Pure desperately trying to get rid of that ultimate. They spent so long charging up, but it doesn't look like it's going to be for anything. As Elusion asserting themselves on this point, 99 to not so much.
You really, what kind of change between the first round and the second that made Elusion really roll over? Well, it wasn't quite a rollover, as Careless Pandas did take the point, but what kind of happened if you're Careless Pandas?
Elusion was a little bit more proactive using their ultimates and also just cleaned up their team fighting in general. Their positioning tended to be a lot more well put together, playing a lot closer to one another. Meanwhile, Careless Pandas were getting split up left and right. And when you have a tracer when you have a flanker like that tracer, if you're going to be split up, you need to be getting value in the backlines. And I simply think that wasn't happening from Pure. He did great on the first map on Sanctum, but you really need to get more out of it than he was able to on that second map.
And yeah, the Black Ninja's just able to magnetically find Pure's head at least twice during that second round. Just really able to be a staple.
Yeah, those were some incredible shots we saw. And it's those early picks, again, that just give them that little bit of extra percentage, allow Pandas to charge up a few less ultimates. But according to that last fight, ultimates didn't matter too much. Illusion was very reactive with their ultimates, using them to stop the ultimates from the side of Careless Pandas from getting so much value, and ended up winning that fight. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is they're able to clean up that team fighting, because in the first map on Sanctum, they weren't really effectively using their ultimates. It was kind of just an awkward fight inside of that bottom room that we saw over and over again. And once they realized, okay, we need to sit together, we need to have a little bit more of a plan going into this, and they execute that plan, the fights come out a lot more in their favor.
So we're seeing a new kind of Screwy Louie in for loyalty bases. Have you seen Careless Pandas really work in action this season?
This season, I actually haven't gotten to see Careless Pandas play much, if at all, but they've done decently so far. I do think they stand plenty of a chance in this match. I do think they're going to have to make a couple of changes here, especially to how they want to team fight. They can't rely on getting early picks like they did on Sanctum, and that won't carry them throughout every game. They're going to need to solidify their teamwork and really group up together in order to win these fights.
We're seeing the Volskaya come on in. It would be interesting because the Ryan Zarya did go in Illusion's favor, and the Sigma Hog kind of traded off. Do you think that those tanks choices have anything to do with how these teams are doing?
I think initially, obviously, Sanctum is a map where Orisa is pretty prevalent. That center point can be really powerful for her. And I don't think either team particularly played the Orisa better than the other. They both played similar positions. They both played, I believe, in a similar fashion. But the Ryan Zarya looked pretty disparaging for the side of Careless Pandas, and it looks like Elusion has the real advantage in that heads-up match. I'm very curious, though, to see what both teams will run here on Volskaya, especially with this new patch, where lots of stuff can be viable.
Mm-hmm. And like, once again, it'd be interesting to see if Careless Pandas are going to keep that Ryan Zarya, because if we looked on the center point of Nepal, they didn't do too well, while we're seeing Elusion run that Sigma Orisa, which we see so much.
Yeah, I do think there's a chance for Bebop and Infinity to show that they can be aggressive. They weren't necessarily doing it on that last point, and I think part of that was because they didn't have the pressure from the Tracer on the backline, but now they'll have Pure on Reaper working together with them to rush down this Orisa Sigma combo, and we'll see if they are able to pull that off.
And hopefully Nebby will play a little less of the spy from Team Fortress 2 as Doomfist, be behind that backline trying to get those sneaky back punches, I should say. As this is a 2 CP map, it's a little bit harder to do that. And they're going, Black Ninja's immediately going to be able to find Scurry Louie. As right now, they're still going in. It's Kurt able to find Infinity, and it's just a shooting range for Elusion right now.
And the question is, if you're Careless Pandas, do you continue on with this composition, or do you swap to counter the Pharah? Is Pure trading out his role, now wanting to play the spy instead of Nebby, sitting very far back.
Yeah, Pure, I don't think you're going to win that. Yeah,
oh, no,
this isn't looking good.
Oh, yeah,
there it is.
Oh, God.
That's such a big one. And that's why the staggers are so important. You don't want to get caught out.
Yep,
Find those health packs, wait for your team.
No swaps for the side of Careless Pandas. Going to want to run into this far just like they did before, maybe a little bit more aggressively. But it's going to be tough getting her out of the sky with Ivy Cat's Mercy stuck to him like glue.
Definitely. Ivy Cat, one of definitely the better supports in the Harmony tier.
Nebby in the back line of Elusion, but he doesn't have any cooldowns. He gets out safely, just barely though.
Screwy Louie so low. And he's just able to find help, but Kurt finishes him off. And right now, it's just trading going off as there comes the barrage. Memo Rex is able to find Infinity, but Toucan is able to kill Black Ninja before it finds anybody, but Elusion really just finishing this one off with not much used.
Yeah, Careless Pandas it started out with a couple of trades, but the pick on a Nixal was so important, taking away that main shield, as well as knocking Black Ninja out of the sky, who had been getting so much value out of this Pharah. I think were really the two key things to breaking that first point. And Careless Pandas really not quite getting enough out of it, though.
And we're finally seeing them swap over to the kind of more dive comp, but Kurt is just able to click in the head of Pure Pure. Pure Pure's head. It's gonna be sore after so much. There's only so much you can take of head clicking.
Yeah, Elusion look absolutely rock solid on this point, and it's tough to approach if you don't want to run the Arista Sigma into it. It's tough to approach with the hit scan to deal with Black Ninja, but it doesn't look like they quite know how they want to approach this dive, although it will start out with the Coalescence.
Once again, Kurt is able to find Pure Pure before the fight even starts, and Elusion just wins this fight almost before it even starts.
Yeah, the damage that Black Ninja is putting onto these dive tanks from the side of Careless Pandas cannot be ignored. Infinity went down so quickly, his health bar dropping from those direct rockets.
Pure Pure has been the first death in almost all of these fights that have happened, at least on this map. What can you, like, there's something that needs to change if you're Pure Pure, or protecting him in general.
As a DPS player, I kind of see this pretty often, and it's a lot of, we're seeing a lot of cooldowns being used from Pure Pure and Nebby, especially on the Doomfist. He's getting caught effectively with his pants down without Wraith form or without that uppercut E to get out for Doomfist, but Pure Pure finding big on the Death Blossom.
But right then, a Gecko and Kurt able to find 3. Gecko finds another.
Oh my god.
Just like that. A Sigma. Pharah. That's gonna hurt if you're Careless Pandas. That one's gonna hurt.
You had that one in the bag, and again, just when your DPS go down like that, there's not much you can do to contest this Pharah out of the sky. She's just not dying quick enough. She's dying late in the fights to the point where it doesn't matter whether or not they find her.
And really just coming onto the point, if they can find anything, Nebby, Infinity.
I believe.
It isn't looking great. It isn't looking great. A single Orisa will turn around this map.
And it's not to be had.
Yeah. That definitely didn't look good.
Yeah, Careless Pandas, at this point, I can't tell if I think the first map was pretty close. The second map of Nepal, pardon me, looked a little bit more towards Elusion, and that felt like Elusion was making some improvements and Careless Pandas was playing about similar to how they did the first map. But this Volskaya, looks like Careless Pandas are really taking a couple of steps back. They don't seem to be able to find the solution that they need to take out this Pharah, and their problem solving, I feel like, is really what's lacking here.
I want to point out, during that attack, I think Careless Pandas really swapped their core comp about 3 times, which really, it doesn't help. They switched to the Sigma, Orisa, McCree really late into that round, which didn't give them the ability to gain those ultimates.
Yeah, you can only really afford to do that once, maybe twice in a round. But I like the look that they're going to be giving us. Nebby on this Widowmaker, something a little bit different than we've seen him play so far, and maybe that's the key they need to take out Black Ninja's Pharah.
Definitely. I mean, they've gotten their heads clicked, so they want revenge. That's the story right now. They want revenge, especially Pure Pure. Pure Pure wants that.
That's exactly what's going to be happening, but the entirety of Careless Pandas is going to want this Widow out of the game, so we'll see who's able to win this fight here.
Well, Careless Pandas are running the Widow. But
pardon me, Elusion would want to take out.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. But Dive Comp's just going to run onto the point, and Gecko is immediately taken out. It was a solid plan. it just really didn't work out very well, as the main take just died immediately.
Black Ninja's not done yet. He's never done.
Oh yeah.
Finding one on the Nebby, and that'll be a long walk home.
Oh. Am I sensing a spawn camp from Black Ninja?
It's only natural.
Oh no. Oh, poor Nebby.
Just let it happen, Nebby.
At least though.
There's a 2-man advantage.
Yeah, there it is. There.
Right
Yeah.
now.
Ugh. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Does Careless Pandas capitalize on it though? They will be backing up onto the point, which is going to allow Black Ninja even more time to get back and put in this splash damage on the Pharah.
Yeah. Black Ninja's just able to fly over that little bridge and is just gonna rain damage on above. Here comes the Doomfist, wrecking in all he can. That Pharah is just gonna be bringing in all that splash damage, and really with no big hit scan, it's gonna be really hard to take out this Pharah. And there's the damage, a 4K from Black Ninja. It just wins Elusion this map.
Now, as Elusion takes that map, I want to take a second to appreciate how they pushed that point. They took their man advantage and pushed around both sides of that initial little bunker with the mini inside of it. Had the Sigma on the right side and the Orisa on the left. Therefore, the Orisa shield from Careless Pandas wasn't able to block all the damage coming in. And slowly they just got pushed back into this corner until Black Ninja just got basically a free 3 or 4K with his ultimate.
And that's a beauty right there. That's what you wish for as a Pharah. Is just free reign. Nothing really to bother you, and it doesn't. That hit scan did not work out if you were Careless Pandas, and something definitely I think needs to change. Careless Pandas, what?
Yeah, heading into this past time, I think Careless Pandas really need to think about what they're doing mid game. It's not necessarily how they want to approach it. We saw on their initial fight they were able to win. I think their team fighting might be up to snuff here. But it's more so their positioning and what they're doing mid-fight and after the fight that's losing them. They're giving up a lot of ground to Orisas, and they're giving up a lot of ground to Pharahs, and not really contesting them how they might want to, and I think they may need to take a second to evaluate how they're doing that.
Well, at least they have the time to evaluate as we now go to halftime. So we'll see you back after the break in just about 10 minutes.
Black Ninja's Pharah, most notably raining down terror upon the side of Pandas. It'll be exciting to see what they can do on this next map, as it will be Numbani coming in. What do you think they're going to have to do to take this one back, Lightrose?
Honestly, if I'm Elusion, I keep running the Pharah. Pandas really are struggling to adapt to taking down that. They're struggling to make the swaps to hit scan, and especially now that we've got a certain somebody back, player has arrived for Elusion, and that just makes things even more scarier if you're Pandas.
Yeah, that just writes doom all over the face of Pandas. Player, of course, that third place for midseason MVP, but it will be C-Man subbing in for the side of Pandas, hopefully looking to do something a little bit special with this DPS lineup to deal with that Pharah that we've seen threaten them so much.
Don't worry about what you just heard. That was okay. I'm being informed because I kind of
may or may not have brought us into the wrong map, but it will be Numbani coming up second, and there's lots of exciting stuff. Although Black Ninja's Pharah is perfect to be run on this first point, we see it played around these high buildings and around all these big corners, and it's able to set up a lot of crossfires. And it'll be interesting to see what Careless wants to do to deal with it now that they have a slightly different DPS lineup.
You don't understand how stressful being the lobby leader is in these matches.
It's awful. You always screw something up, and
you always screw something up. Yeah, because you got to make the swaps. You got to change the map. You got to keep talking.
You know what, though? I'd rather be lobby leader than be in Careless Panda's shoes right now, as they will be taking on the attack coming into this point. This would be a tough one to break. Players' notorious Orisa one trick apparently warming up before this match will be taking on the high ground, and that's going to be a tough one to crack. How do you think they're going to want to do it?
Really, I think you have to run some sort of Orisa along with what you have already, because that Rein Zarya, if you go Rein Zarya, you're not going to win. If it's proven that the Rein Zarya really doesn't work, especially in this match, and so we are kind of seeing that Orisa. It's a bastion offensive comp, so it'd be really interesting if they keep that, and I'd be really interested to see how they would play it.
This is actually a little bit unfortunate for Careless Pandas. I think they think they're going to be seeing an Orisa here, but they're in for a little bit of a surprise as player in Nixall onto a classic dive comp. The newly buffed D.Va, along with Winston, are going to be looking to take this Bastion off of the point, off of the high ground, and try to deal with and maybe surprise Careless Pandas a little bit here.
Dive is coming back, and I know a couple people who are thrilled about that.
I, for one, have been enjoying all the Winston play. I think has been it's pretty enjoyable to play myself, and also just fun to watch as we have a little bit of a fire duel going on in the sky. A C-Man taken right on down to half health. We Careless trying to set themselves up on the high ground. Player going down first. The Bastard from Nebby dishing out so much damage from this high ground. Just barely trying to get through any damage down to this Bastard. Black Ninja will be going down to C-Man, taking his turn to put in the payback for the side of Careless Pandas, running down the members of Elusion all the way into this back room, as it will be Careless Pandas taking this first point with the commanding lead coming out of this halftime, saying they're here to play.
That is something you definitely need if you're Careless Pandas. Just a rush onto the point, immediately taking it, coming back from halftime with a plan.
And trying to stop it a little bit longer. It would be Gecko and player going down immediately. Careless Pandas looking to extend this lead down the streets phase. What does Elusion need to do to stabilize here? And how does Careless Pandas roll this cart through the second phase of Numbani?
What Elusion needs to do is they need to respect the Bastion's line of sight. Right now, they're just rolling through them. They've made the swaps. They've got the Junkrat, the Hanzo. They're keeping the Mercy, but they've got those dive comps, so they just need to crash onto that Bastion. Obviously, like I said, respect that line of sight and just somehow make it through this without getting a pick or without losing somebody.
Real quick, can we appreciate C-Man dishing out Black Ninja a little bit of his own medicine on the Pharah? I love that. That
is definitely something that you can laugh about.
Yes, sir. And the players from Elusion are constantly half healthier. The Pharah Mercy from Careless Pandas is finding so much value, but it will be loyalty base going down first. But C-Man wants revenge, finding the kill on a Black Ninja. Kurt will be trading onto C-Man, though the Bastion's still alive on the cart. Nebby dishing out so much damage will get taken out by this Hanzo, but the invulnerability field keeping alive just a little bit longer. Gecko looking for something sneaky in here, looking for a sleep dart or a big purple that might help them win the fight, but it supports alive on the point for Elusion are the only things left as Careless Pandas take it through the streets phase uncontested.
It's like I said before, they only dived on the Bastion once, and it was one person, and that was Nixall. They dived on him, immediately got mixed because he had no backup.
I'm gonna tell you,
they just need to crash on that Bastion.
Yes, sir, and I'll tell you, nothing puts a smile on my face more than seeing a team that's struggling in halftime come out like this as Nixall going down real quick. As this time, it's C-Man on the Reaper instead of the Pharah coming in and immediately having an impact, but Black Ninja finding a little bit of a revenge kill, saying you can't play so cocky as Nebby gets walled up, but using his ultimate plus the window from the Baptiste.
Oh no!
Sitting in ice block, staying alive just a little bit longer than Careless Pandas wants him to. Nebby, though, on half health. A little bit purple here. T-Quinn will be looking for the res. Will he get it off? He does get it off, and it will be an even fight here. Nebby trying to reposition, trying to get just a little bit of stabilization here so he can get a little bit more value out of this. Faster repositioning around the corner. Player pushing up with his team. Nixall trying to get Nebby just dislodged, but Careless Pandas very effectively rotating around, resetting themselves. Black Ninja, though, finding C-Man that will be with the DPS down. Nebby trading back onto Black Ninja. A little bit more of a fight looking for Careless Pandas here, but the res out of Ivy Cat will be asserting player back in. The main tank alive again for Elusion, as that's a big purple onto the side of Careless Pandas. The bongo coming down, but a massive gravitic flux sending 4 people straight down to the ground into half health, but they won't be able to follow up on the kills. Black Ninja looking for a flashbang, right click, but the invulnerability field coming out just in time as Nebby goes huge! On the transformation tank, Kurt desperately trying to hold on to this point, but it will be Careless Pandas rolling straight through the streets of Numbani.
That was a 5K by Nebby.
Holy God!
Put it in montage, boys!
That's true, Careless Pandas. That's how you make a statement out of halftime.
Oh my God, 4 minutes. That is... You're smiling right there if you're Careless Pandas.
Dude, I'm smiling and I'm just casting.
That's something great.
Now we've got a match on our hands of how on earth does Elusion run this one back? What do you say?
It'll be interesting to see if Careless Pandas do run that Bastion again, because like I said, it worked. Once they got that Bastion set up, the positioning of Elusion really just killed them so much once that Bastion got set up. And a lot of times the Bastion was set up in the right positions. They were just able to click their left mouse button and destroy everything without really much contesting.
And it's one of those things that sounds kind of forehead, but Careless Panda really played their rotation super effectively. Like we saw in that last point, they were disengaging and playing around the cart really smartly. And we're seeing a level of coordination that we haven't seen before, and that might be something to do with C-Man entering this game.
And it's interesting how much better Careless Pandas have done, even with the addition of player that are obviously great Orisa player.
Yeah, players not really having the impact, but I suppose it's a little difficult when a Bastion shredding through your shield 900 HP at a time.
We're gonna be seeing Careless Pandas playing that usual Bastion spot, but we're also gonna be seeing Elusion running that Bastion.
And this is a real test. The question is has Elusion prepped this, or are they kind of coming in dry here, seeing how well it worked for Careless Pandas? You'd like to imagine that it was prepped. However, the question will be who can play it just a little bit better than the other. And I struggle to think that they will have a tough time getting a little bit of a quicker time on the map. As the invulnerability field comes out early, a big group on the Mixel will be taken down on the point early as Black Ninjas are left alive with only an Orisa, but he's shredding through the shields as Nebby goes down first for the side of Careless Pandas. The first Bastion off the map that Rez will try to come in, but it won't find anything. T-Quinn just barely finding it. Stuck here on this point though. Nixel finds a big accretion on the Seaman. Nebby taking his turn, taking out Black Ninja. The Reds coming onto it, but there's no shield for the side of Elusion as they're set on this point. Nebby stuck on this high ground, not gonna be letting go of it as Black Ninja all the way down. No res left for the side of Elusion, and Careless Panda hold on to this point to see another day.
That res by T-Quinn was absolutely massive.
I was scared for his life.
Yeah, after Infinity actually took down Black Ninja single-handedly with that kind of LMG, he was just able to free roam. Once again, like I said before, really uncontested, holding that left click, beautiful.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting thing. It may be the Bastard, or it may be C-Man entering this game, but how much better they're doing. We haven't seen them regroup or restabilize in any of these fights up until this match. And yet in the middle of the fight, when it looked like all was lost, they were effectively able to do it on that high ground. However, they only need 2 ticks. Now, Elusion finding the wall up on a Nebby will be taking him out for the first time, but the Reds should come in here from T-Quinn if they can get a shield down just to protect him, but there's no shields for the side of Careless Pandas, and the Reds is canceled! T-Quinn flying just a little bit too far away as the loyalty base is just trying to hold on to this point. But it looks like, unless C-Man can go up huge, fighting 2 with the barrage, trying to just pressure off, not allow this Reds to come through from Ivy Cat. Player trying to reposition himself in the corner here. C-Man dropping down a little bit low. Ivy Cat finds the rest on the Black Ninjas. They will be stabilizing on this high ground. However, the kills not coming through yet. C-Man taking down Black Ninja one more time. Kill me once, shame on me. Kill me twice, shame on you. He says C-Man, though, desperately trying not to get frozen out by Kurt's May. As the tanks and Bastion set up again here from the side of Careless Pandas, asserting themselves on the point. 5 men left alive for the side of Careless Pandas on this point as Kurt will be taken out on this point. What a play from C-Man.
It's just really, they're doing a great job of like juggling those DPS, choosing their targets wisely, and they're really playing right now the best that they've played all night.
Yes, as very quickly we will see Elusion set up again on this high ground. Just need to back off, getting a little bit of shields for their Sigma, but they'll need to push this high ground. What do they need to do differently here in order to win these fights?
I mean, it's really just, with that Bastion, it's really hard because you're doing a great job of keep hiding those immortality fields. It's just that Pharah, that additional damage is really killing Elusion.
I love C-Man and T-Quinn's positioning, by the way.
You have to keep that Pharah away from your Bastion because your tanks are getting split.
And the res coming out from the side of Elusion does not bode well for them, but a big gravitic flux will supposedly take Careless Pandas out of position, but they're still up on this high ground. They're not out of here yet. Nebby still raining down damage. Player desperately trying to shoot back, but it will be Nebby going down. The res still available for T-Quinn though, as 4 men left alive on the point. Ivy Cat just trying to get out of here, maybe taking a few pot shots at T-Quinn as the Mercy battle goes down. Support will combat around the edge of the map.
You gotta respect the 1v1.
You really do. They let it go on for a little bit. But
I mean, you're loving that if you're Careless Pandas. Obviously, you get that kind of stagger. But it's really just desperation at this point if you're Illusion.
There's 5 seconds, and player on the ball now off that Orisa. No more one trick left. C-Man looking to close this one out with a barrage. This player the only man alive on point. Black Ninja flying by, getting cut right out of that punch. Gecko's invulnerability fields will be going down ASAP. Player taken off of the hamster. And that'll be a closed out full hold for Careless Pandas.
Wow.
That's a statement.
Were these the same teams? Are these the same teams?
Are we sure they didn't like swap who's on the computers at halftime? That's what it feels like is happening.
Somebody spike their Mountain Dew? Like
that's exactly what happened. They look completely different coming out of this halftime. What?
Our producer's telling us that Mountain Dew, according to him, cannot get any more extreme. He's clearly not tried Mountain Dew Kickstarter. Tranquility is not sponsored by Mountain Dew, even though I wish we were. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes, sir. Careless Pandas drinking their gamer fuel, coming in here onto Route 66. They're going to need another win to even up this series and bring us on to map 5. But do you think they can do it? And what do you think they need to do onto Route 66 in order to maintain this momentum?
So Route 66, I think, is once again a really good Bastion map. Pandas, I think you keep playing the Bastion. You did a great, I think great is an understatement. You did amazing on Numbani, and you clearly outplayed Elusion, and I think that's really what you start with. And I think that's how they can win this one and keep going.
I think it's interesting to see how they've come out of this halftime. Their entire positioning has changed. They've played so much more as a group, and it may be around that Bastion and maybe around C-Man, but it's interesting to think how you really get that much of a difference coming out of just a halftime talk, just maybe a pep talk or maybe a little bit of analysis from your coach, but it's made a world of a difference. And all of a sudden they're playing as a team, and it's not just initial positioning, its rotations are on point. Initial positioning's on point. They're taking forward positions after they get a point. They're staggering. They're using everything to their advantage that they could on these maps. And it's complete, like the exact reason they were losing the first 2 maps is the exact reason they won Numbani.
Mm-hmm. I think you touched upon it, is that rotations and positioning. That's something that Pandas really had on Numbani. Because even when the fights kind of fell apart, the Pandas really stuck together, still rallied behind their Bastion. Even if they didn't have a Bastion, they still kind of played better than Elusion, I guess, if that makes any sense. And Elusion, when fights started to crumble, they didn't play around their Bastion as well, and it really fell apart for them.
Yeah, and I think what that breaks down to is what we saw in the first map was Elusion winning fights early, taking positional advantages early in the fight, however, not needing to adapt mid-fight as Pandas weren't able to take care of that initial positioning they set up. All of a sudden, Pandas are taking care of the initial positioning from Elusion, and Elusion isn't able to adapt during the mid-fight. Meanwhile, Pandas are doing it perfectly. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they can do the same thing Pandas did in halftime, just in between one map.
So hopefully we're getting in. Pandas coming in is Screwy Louie and Pure Pure. Obviously, we're hoping Pure Pure doesn't get headshot so much. But if we're seeing Nebby go out, I think Nebby actually has to go out per the 2-map rule. Because C-Man, I think this is C-Man's second map, I believe.
This is C-Man's second map.
Yeah, this is both C-Man's second map, so he's got to play this one. Yeah, C-Man's second map. So we're going to see if that Bastion, even though their Bastion player really, who they played Bastion last map isn't playing, see if they're going to keep that Pure Pure C-Man on the Pharah, if it works well for them in this map.
Yeah, I think they'd like to see Black Ninja on the Pharah here, especially on the attack, but it will be Careless Pandas taking up the attack first, and there's so much you can do on this map. You can run interesting little Bastion strats on attack here. There's some good positions for you to take, even off of the cart, that can offer to your team a large advantage. But I think really everything's in the air with Route 66. It used to be played dive. You can run a Reinhardt Zarya on it. You can run the Orisa Sigma, and you can even run the Bastion on both attack and defense. And we've seen Pharah be fairly prevalent here as well. I'd love to see what both these teams roll out on.
If this is really what Elusion's sticking with, I don't think this is really going to bode well for them. They're just going to get really surprised here, because it seems that Careless Pandas are keeping with that Bastion Pharah, the same concept they went with. And really, they don't have anything to counter that Bastion. They did swap to the Junkrat, which is, I think, a lot better than what they had.
Yes, along with the Hanzo, it looks like it's weird. They're trying to play the shield break game, but also with the Reinhardt. So it looks like they're going to be trying to rush on top of Careless Pandas with that Lucio speed boost, and then follow up with the damage from Black Ninja and Kurt. If they can get past those shields in time is the real question here.
They're going to be getting on that car. That Junkrat's just going to be loading and spamming, seeing if he can get something.
Black Ninja putting down some damage on a Seaman. Not going to be finding the pick, though, as it will be Gecko getting taken out immediately on the Reinhardt player on the backline on the Zarya, but he doesn't have any tries. He's not going to be able to put any damage down. Kurt, like we mentioned, not able to get past those shields, just having to run and pass and use that double jump. He'll get taken out immediately. Just melted. Careless Pandas taking on that push with ease.
Elusion is just stumbling so much over this Bastion comp, and they really need to change something up. And we're seeing Kurt running on that Bastion of their own, Black Ninja on that Widow, really trying to go for these counter picks, shut them down somehow. Because right now, Elusion is just not Elusion. Careless Pandas are just on a roll.
I think this corner is a key one, though, for Careless Pandas, whether they decide to reposition here in the back corner or stay on top of the cart. And staying on top of the cart will give Gecko a little bit of an advantage. Oh my god, he gets taken out immediately, losing all his health. Kurt on the reverse Bastion, not going to be getting anything over here. Peer saying, this is mine and it's mine alone.
Like, Elusion's positioning, especially on that last fight, it was just a mess. You had the Reinhardt and the Bastion trying to struggle to somehow find a positioning. You had player just somewhere else. It's a train wreck right now.
So obviously some changes need to be made for the side of Elusion, but how much of this do you think is mistakes that they make normally, and how much of this do you think is maybe them being a little bit mentally boomed from the last map?
Well, it's hard to count on how much Elusion has practiced going against this comp and preparing for it. So I don't know if they're mentally boomed from last map, but it's just trying to adapt so much.
Kurt taking out Peer on the Bastion, the wall, interestingly enough, like pushing him off of the cart in an awkward direction, enough to get him out from behind that shield. So the res will not be available, but it doesn't matter because Seaman finds a 4-man barrage onto the high ground.
Disgusting.
Another fight just sealed out. Seaman has been, I'm not gonna lie, as much as these Bastion comps and the team play has come in super well for the side of Careless Pandas, Seaman, every single time the fight looks a little bit bad for Careless Pandas, Seaman comes out with something huge.
Yeah, you have, because with Seaman, with Peer you have to worry about the Bastion, this constant spread of damage, so much damage coming from this one source. But you also have to worry about these rockets flying everywhere, this Pharah, and right now it's just too much for Elusion to handle.
Yeah, and they're gonna try to run the Bastion back, but is it too little too late, as the window will be available for Careless Pandas? Peer getting pushed up by that Mei while trying to stay alive. Hopefully they have the res on deck here, though, as the Coalescence is thrown in from Nixal. Trying to find a few more picks, take advantage of the time while this Bastion is down, but the window goes down as another big wall. Well placed, but Peer just falling off of it with that transformation tank. This point continues to move forward. Unstopped. Kurt not getting nearly enough value on the high ground. Peer though will be taken out for good. No res available from Tequin, as it will be Elusion just barely stabilizing on top of this point.
Finally, after a map and almost a half, Elusion finally finds some way to just hold up the stop sign as screaming for their life. Just put some kind of hold on what Careless Pandas are doing.
Black Ninja did a fantastic job there, getting those walls underneath Peer and pushing him out of position just enough to maybe mess the team up and force out a few cooldowns that gave him the advantage there.
They didn't play so much around their Bastion. They had good positioning for that Bastion. Obviously, Black Ninja's walls were great, and it's once again just these playing around these Bastion, taking out their Bastion, preventing the res. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
The wall goes up again. Peer trying desperately to stay alive, staying at full health. This time the wall not going to be getting the same value, but it will be the Discord, or the Orb of Death for Moira, we'll call it, because I'm not sure what it's called. Coming and finding the picks, and that's both the DPS down for Careless Pandas. They're just going to take an easy little reset here. However, a little bit of time for Elusion to gain some ultimates and really turn the tides in their favor for the rest of this map.
We're seeing Seaman come off that Pharah, more onto that Hanzo. that, I don't know if we're shield break, but just more concentrated damage on a certain area. Able to find those headshots. And right now their goal is to just take out the Bastion, prevent the shield. Right now, just disrupt Illusion as much as they can.
An obvious advantage here in the Bastion setup. Those shields go down so quickly, and Kurt is going to need to reposition here. The question is it back up on the high ground, or do they rotate around? He stays on top of the truck, though, setting himself up a little bit further back. He doesn't quite have the sightline that he wants. Will be using the transformation tank to put in some damage. Bebop getting taken out on the Sigma, but Pier sitting so far back, not able to put in the damage that he needs to in order to win this fight if he gets walled up, and that will be Careless Pandas just wanting to get out of there.
Right now, the shield play from Gecko and Player is just great. They're perfectly timing. They're working together to counteract this Bastion. And once again, Black Ninja's walls, able to take away from that Immortality field, get away from the shield, disrupt Pier. It's really, right now, it's clicking for Illusion. And that's especially what they need.
They do have 2 minutes, and the question is, what do they want to do with it? They haven't decided to save up any ultimates, and they have decided to keep this Bastion. And is that really the right decision, do you think? We do see Seaman coming onto the Reaper. He's going to be looking to get into the backline on top of this Bastion and put some pressure down so that he can't be focusing down the shields of Careless Pandas for so long.
I think if you're Careless Pandas...
Oh my god! Are they doing it? They're doing it! They're riding it to victory as Pier taking down the no invulnerability field available when you're riding the train to your death. Kurt shredding through the shields, shredding through all the resources, obviously some of which were not available for Careless Pandas given the interesting route they decided to take.
That is something that I have not seen. I don't know if it's more of a desperation or once again going for that surprise pick, surprise choice in positioning, but we're still not seeing any swaps from the side of Careless Pandas, though we do see a lot of ultimates coming online for them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably a horrible choice, but I didn't mind seeing it. That was one of the more interesting plays I've gotten to witness. But they do have a big advantage here, coming in with 4 ultimates, 5 ultimates with the Gravitic Flux, but it will be Gecko getting hits first. Finding 5, 6 from the side, and it will be Screwy Louie taking out the invulnerability field, no longer available. But Seaman finding Black Ninja, the walls that have been so pertinent, not available anymore. Pier finding some value with his ultimate, and that Nanobear's being huge. Pier in the recon mode, taking out player after player, as it will be. The Careless Pandas pushing through this map. But does Kurt have, or Black Ninja have something to say about it? The wall comes up, Black Ninja blowing his ice block on the point. Ivy Cat desperately trying to battle Mercy his way through this one. The question is, will they be able to do it? Set up around the point is Elusion. So much health. Will they be able to get through it? Pier kept alive. The rest still available for the side of Careless Pandas, I believe. But Seaman again coming in clutch time after time. Kurt on this Genji, last man alive on the point for Elusion, as it looks like it will be Careless Pandas if they can kill a Genji. Finally taken out, but it will be Black Ninja.
Oh, Black Ninja's nice.
Longer. Gecko on the, oh my goodness, the stagger is awful here. Player onto the Winston. The damage coming in. Ivy Cat overtime ticking down now. That's a big win if you're Illusion here, whether or not they take the point. But the fight evening up, the spawn advantage coming in massive for Illusion, as Seaman is going to have to be the man to close this one out. As he find it, Bebop finding a kill on a Nixon. It's a lot of healing taken away, but the Blizzard excellent at closing out the point. Could be big here, taking out Infinity, the main tank for Careless Pandas, the supports, and Bebop left alive. Though Seaman with the Nano, will he be able to get the value? Big Purple comes down on the Kurt. Ivy Cat, Purple is well, not going to be having any healing. The Reaper still alive to take care of this Winston player, trying to find Screwy Louie, the support. Gecko alive again, finding one. Will be Seaman trying to find some value with his ultimate, taking out all of those mines. Will be huge as they push the point to the end of the map.
Oh my god, that was a long fight.
As Illusion taking it into overtime, but not going to be doing enough to stop that card from reaching the end of the map just in time. Careless Pandas pushed to the end of Route 66.
This was like eons ago, but if somebody's got the memory to remember, Ivy Cat actually rezzed I think it was Kurt. I believe yes, it was. I think it was Kurt. The Bastion. Whoever played the Bastion.
Bastion. Yes.
Yes. I'm not senile, I swear. Actually rezzed the Bastion, which took away from the healing. Once the Bastion was rezzed, had no cover, no help, and was just immediately peppered down. And if Ivy Cat really had chose not to res, I think that fight could have gone a different way. Obviously, I don't know. that Bastion really was just a force to be reckoned with on the side of Careless Pandas. But it's just something that I noticed.
Yeah, that last fight was an absolute slugfest. Ultimates both ways the entire time. But I think, honestly, it was... one of the things I like to point out, I think it was Gecko on the Sigma. His ultimate maybe used it a little bit early. The Gravitic Flux not quite getting the value that you want it to against a Bastion. It offers a big hole in the defense, lifting that Bastion up, making him available for your Bastion to take out. But they didn't get that value that they wanted out of the ultimate. And then turning it around, they just nano boosted Peer. He got value out of the nano boost far more than Gecko did out of a much larger ultimate with the Gravitic Flux. And then they were able to close out the fight using Bebop's Gravitic Flux, which he still had on deck because he didn't use it so preemptively.
Now this is this is a really good Bastion spot, I think, right now, that what they're doing. It's once again taking that element of surprise. You usually see the Bastion run on top of the gas station, but having this back can be great, especially fighting around this Roadhog and this Bastion, because against the Roadhog, range is his enemy, obviously. Right off the bat, Seaman is just taken out by Kurt. Not good.
A little bit of a misplaced shield here as Peer is left alone on this high ground. The invulnerability field will be needed to be used here as the entirety of Careless Panda is going to be regrouping him with a big pick on, or big hook onto Bebop. Allows Kurt to take out Peer out of the high ground. The Bastion not alive anymore from the side of Careless Pandas as they turn this corner player, and Kurt now getting into the vision of all of Careless Pandas as they're going to shred through these shields and try and take him out. But Seaman might have something to say about it. He's left alone in the sky, no mercy to keep him alive, and he will be taken out by Kurt. The rest coming on an Exalt. They will have the invulnerability available in a second. As Peer just desperately trying to keep him alive with the window offering him such an advantage. The invulnerability field stuck behind the cart. Black Ninja, though, will be looking to close out this fight using his ultimate to put down just a little bit of extra damage they needed to find those kills.
That immortality field from Nixal was incredibly clutch. I think it single-handedly saved that fight. On the side of Pandas, you had the immortality, you had the amplification matrix coming out, you had the Bastion, you had the double shields, and it just saved all of them, which allowed, you know, Black Ninja to get off that barrage, Kurt to once again rain death in, and it just, I really want to compliment Nixal on that immortality field.
Now I'm not, oh god. Gecko went down quick, trying to peek this Bastion, get an early pick on him. Not gonna be happening here as they get to hold a little bit more of a forward corner. But I do want to appreciate, like you mentioned, that invulnerability field, I believe is actually just out of the sightline of Peer, actually blocked by Kurt on the cart, who was kept invulnerable from the invulnerability field, in turn keeping the invulnerability field invulnerable. But the fight gonna be started up here as Careless Panda's getting a little bit split up. Peer taken out, getting hooked out by Gecko, and no res. Well, the res will come in. Pardon me, as Peer awkwardly in the backline, but Black Ninja will be looking to deal with them, but Peer alive in the backlines! What? Elusion getting so much out here, taking out 1, 2 left alive.
What just happened?
I think Black Ninja thought he was going to deal with them, but Peer had something else to say about that one.
I'm genuinely confused on how Elusion lost that fight.
2 words. Clown Fiesta.
Oh my gosh.
I think what we've seen here is Peer has just asserted his dominance on the Bastion.
Oh yeah.
He needs no team to do this game. And, oh my god, Seaman taking out Ivy Cat, no res to keep your Mercy alive. That's I don't think they saw that swap coming.
Oh, Gecko's found out. Oh no.
Oh, he's found. He's getting chunked out though. Player, not but 200 health left. Oh my god, Seaman peeking over the top. Find a player who's cowering behind those rocks. These staggers are cutting out a lot of time for Elusion. What do you think Elusion need to do to get back into this fight? The second point can be a little bit hard to reestablish a Bastion on. Black Ninja opting to go for this Widow duel, finds the body shot onto Seaman, but won't be the kill.
Obviously, it's really hard to regain dominance over that Bastion once they've set up. It's why it's so hard to, especially on a payload map, get that Bastion up again. And it's really, we're seeing that ult is just immediately negated by so much damage being poured out by Careless.
Oh my god.
And right now, I think you just have to back up. Maybe not. Who knows? I could be wrong. I'm all in.
Seaman making himself a little bit too available to Gecko as Bebop gets pulled off the high ground. That's 1 less person to defend this Bastion. But will it matter? Is Gecko on the flank looking to find Bebop, but he has Tequin on top of him, trying to pull some of these players off the high ground, as it will be Kurt taking on Finny and Peer. getting lifted up just enough by that Hulk to give him the picks, but Seaman winning the Widow duel. Question is, will he be able to find the kill onto this Bastion? Kurt stuck behind a shield. Gecko using that whole hog to keep everybody off of his main man, as Seaman desperately trying to rain some damage from above, but Tequin and Seaman, Widow and Mercy, not gonna be looking like they're able to do much.
The use of cooldowns on the side of Elusion was really well done. They had the great eye fields, obviously the great shields from player. I think Gecko's flank, while it didn't really look that helpful, it actually disrupted Careless Panda's play style, because they had to more focus on getting the Roadhog away, healing the Sigma, and less on the Bastion.
Yeah, on the topic of cooldowns, actually, we saw, I believe it was Scurry Louis uses his vulnerability field early when he used his window, and they didn't have for that fight, but it doesn't matter here. The Spearper takes out Kurt early on the card. The Res will look to come out from Ivy Cap, but there's no shields left to allow him to get that one off. They're going to have to back up here, maybe just wait for their Bastion to respawn.
I mean, this is exactly the position that Careless Pandas was in. The only problem is that it's really time at this point. I think Careless Pandas, when they got to this point, they had almost 5 minutes, and Elusion really has about half that. So it's can they do it the same, maybe more, with half what they have?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was so much time that Careless Pandas needed so much. Oh my God, they're going for the same thing. Kurt barely getting off of the barely getting off the Death Express, as it will be Bebop aggressively ulting this high ground, but it may be him just going down first. But it takes out the Baptiste, getting a lot of value here, and he will just one-man push Bebop on a rampage, running down this Mercy player, desperately trying to keep him alive. Ivy Cat just running away for his life. Bebop is doing something in the back line here, something interesting, as he gets taken down.
That was a... Hey, Elusion.
Wait, what is Seaman doing? That's a good question. Is he will take it out? Oh my God, he should be dead. He should be dead.
That was a very confusing last minute. It was very... Please, okay.
I don't even know how he got there.
I got scared. I thought Elusion was doing the exact same thing.
Gecko's gonna be looking for hook here from the low ground, try and take this Bastion out of position, but a great halt on the Gecko. Gonna be slowing his plan just a little bit. Will Pure notice him coming from the right. He does. He's forced back behind that column, but the window will be coming out from Nixall. Kurt able to dish out the damage, taking out 3, both the main tanks and Pure. However, the res will come in from Tequin. Will they be able to back up and support their Bastion coming out of spawn here? I think it was a great res, deciding to res Infinity here instead of Pure on the Bastion. Will allow their Bastion to come out of spawn and take maybe a little bit of a better position than he would have been able to had the res gone on to him.
We're seeing this last fight territory. Black Ninjas doesn't have that barrage yet, but he's just looming over that spawn area, looking to find
something. The window traded right back, though. Black Ninja putting in so much damage and shut down immediately, but not before he gets 2 kills here. Seaman taking out Black Ninja. Pure shredding through player. No main tank left alive for the side of Elusion, as they're desperately trying to push this. Pushes that a little bit further, not but 3.9 meters left to go on this map, but it won't be enough, holding just a little bit longer. 33 seconds on the clock. This is it. They need to win with this fight.
26 seconds. Pure does have, both Bastions do have that tank. I'm seeing Nixall go onto that Lucio, probably just to rush them onto the point as soon as possible. But once again, Careless Pandas just have that set up, and it's going to be really hard to debunk that really quickly. They have to use their cooldowns immensely well.
Just gonna step down on
close to this.
It'll be Infinity, but Pure helping another one of those ultimates. We've seen him pop off over and over again, finding 2. Bebop with 1 from the grid. Flux. Ivy Cat trying to res player on the main tank, but Ivy Cat will be going down himself. The res coming through, player allowed just a little bit longer, but it won't be enough as overtime ticks down. Careless Pandas taking this one into a 2-2, keeping their playoff and seeding hopes alive just a little bit longer.
We're going to map 5. And I just think that Ultimates really won that last fight. That was a great Gravitic Flux, great tank play by Pure, and it all just clicked together. It was really going to be really hard for Elusion to take that one, and I just think really Careless Pandas crushed any hope that they had right there.
Yeah, I think on Numbani, Careless Pandas showed that they could win a Bastion versus Bastion. Numbani is not necessarily a map where the attacking Bastion has so much of an advantage. Here on Route 66, when the Bastion can gain a lot of momentum and can really push the card basically on his own, it can be so tough to break, and the positionings can be so even. Pandas really showed us that they can come out ahead here in the head-to-head, and this may be the matchup that they choose to take, as Elusion seemingly struggling to beat them with any sort of composition, whether it be the Orisa Sigma without a Bastion or the Bastion versus Bastion.
And we're seeing that control point, which was closer, but it's going to be really hard for Pandas to play some sort of Bastion on this. So will they try to force it, or will they kind of know what they learned and put it on some sort of other comp?
If they force the Bastion, I don't think things are looking good for them. I think they need to maintain the lessons that they've learned and continue on to these points with them. And I think they need to stick together as a team in a similar way that they were. Like I mentioned before a while ago, they were getting spread thin in those first couple times. And obviously you can center yourself around a Bastion. It's a little easier to stop that from happening. But without the Bastion, you need to be able to do that same thing, to play together as a team, play with your tanks, and really find those targets to take them out quickly.
I think if Pandas do choose to run that Bastion, Mecha Base is really what they're hoping for. You got that high ground, you have some sort of shelter, you got the ability to move 360, so that's what you're really hoping for if you're Pandas.
And Mecha Base will be our first map, but will they be running that Bastion is the question. They've done so well with it so far, but Busan might just be a little bit of a stretch. What exactly do you think Elusion's going to want to do here? We know exactly what Careless Pandas maybe want to do, or maybe want to do something similar to, but Elusion's kind of up in the air because they're going to have to predict the same things that we are. What exactly Careless Pandas are going to do, and how do you think they're going to respond?
I think Careless Pandas have the ability really just to play mind games with Elusion. Will they run the Bastion? Will they not? If Elusion does run that anti-Bastion comp, Careless Pandas can choose to really negate that, to take advantage of their weaknesses that they have. And if Careless Pandas do choose to run this, I think that they've really got Elusion right now.
Oh, and they won't be running it. Maybe giving us a little bit of a tease, but there's no Baptiste. They're almost certainly not going to be running it. Nebby looking to stay on this Doomfist. Seaman maybe trying to get some more value on this far, but Black Ninja might have something to say about that. This Ashe is something that we're yet to see, and I can't wait to see what he wants to do on it.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to see the Bastion, but we're still going to see that Rein Zarya come out on the side of Elusion, which really worked for them, the first King of the Hill map.
Nebby, though, swapping off of Doomfist and onto McCree. Personally, I've been liking the McCree a lot lately, especially here on Mecha Base. McCree takes advantage of basically all of these angles. He's able to play pretty effectively on point and use the high ground. Elusion, though, will be taking the high ground first, setting up on point. Will be Seaman, though, taking out Black Ninja. Initially, it's going to be tough for Elusion to win this point first.
Yeah, that hit scan, which, counters Pharah, obviously, is immediately gone, and both DPSs are just dead walking back, and it's just Elusion right now is just trying to get something.
They can't even get on top of him. The halts from Infinity have been on point. Player looking for something. We'll find Nebby taking him off the map, taking him into a wall, pardon me. The player going to be staggering himself just a little bit longer, sending himself right into the
There goes player. There goes player.
There goes player.
I think that's something you can laugh about. The instant fear from Nebby's face. I could see it from miles away of, oh no, what have I done? As he looks straight to the charging Reinhardt.
Both teams here convinced me that they had swapped sides of the map. I actually didn't realize Elusion was going to be coming from this side the way they rotated all the way around the point. Holy goodness, though, Seaman putting in so much damage here. Going to be raining it down as the shields run out for the side of Elusion. No pick's going to be found, though. And they just try and stabilize here up on the high ground.
And that swap onto the Bastion, not Bastion, Doomfist McCree is really going to be great for Elusion. You've got that Bastion, which is able to take care of that Sigma Orisa. And McCree to take care of the Pharah. You just have to protect that McCree because I think that's an integral part of your comp.
Seaman, though, taking the engagement onto Nebby, onto Black Ninja on the McCree, and Nebby will be taking out Kurt. And that'll be both the DPS gone for Elusion here again. 55%. You really want to be wondering how on earth are you taking this back as Elusion? The ultimate's not coming in. They only have Coalescence and Sound Barrier available. And player doesn't have a Gravitic Flux that you're really going to need to take out and displace some of these heroes from the side of Careless Pandas.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I literally said it. And then not even like 5 seconds later, Black Ninja went on the high ground unprotected, and Seaman was just able to destroy him with no protection. That Farmer C. It was a wrap. It was a wrap.
That's one of the things, when you're playing a McCree into a Pharah, you really want to play behind your Orisa shield. That's the biggest advantage you can have. And Seaman, dropping the ultimate, will be going through the shields. Will be picking up 2. closing in on this point, 92%, 93%. It's point takes down. They want more. They coalescence in trying to find that last kill, and they will get it. All 6 men down for Elusion, 99%, and that'll be the point for Careless Pandas.
I don't want to say it too early, but wait.
Are you gonna say reverse sweep?
I had a no crap. I had a thing. Okay, I'm gonna figure this out. All right, hold on. Freaking online things. Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. Never mind.
Don't worry about it. One big difference, honestly, because this and the first map were both control points, and one of the things we saw consistently in the first control point map was Elusion taking the point first, getting 40 to 50%, and then Careless Pandas taking it back. Whatever happened from there would happen, but that massive percentage advantage that Elusion would rack up for themselves initially would come back to bite Careless Pandas in the butt later on in the match. And I think Careless Pandas really able to get over that hump and win the point first, and now apparently able to hold on to it for 99%. It kind of just shows the difference in positioning and thinking that they've had this entire match.
And right now,
getting found by the hook, not gonna be finding the kill. Though Black Ninja will be having the final say in that. Beam up though, trading back onto Gecko. That's gonna be one of the tanks down for the side of Elusion. The res though trying to come out. It does not get canceled by the Hawk. Seaman back alive on this far, back in action, but the res on the Gecko. 6 versus 6 again on the point. This point can go for a long time, but Seaman and Black Ninja is trying to fight it off. Over the top of this point, it will be Black Ninja winning that far duel. The point just trying to be kept alive here. 3 members of Careless Pandas left on this point, but they will get taken out. However, noticeably, a decent amount of ult charge for Careless Pandas, and similarly for Elusion, but maybe slightly more on the side of Careless Pandas.
Yeah. I mean, I think what really won the fight for Elusion was that Roadhog. That ability to just find somebody, bring them to you, and almost one-shot them is really, you just need one, and one is exactly what I found.
Yeah, a little easier to hit those hooks when there's not a bastard shooting at you. And Beam Up put off the high ground, definitely trying to keep it alive. It would be Tequin, but Seaman look for some on the back line. Won't be finding it. Kurt taking out Tequin. His Mercy support gone. Forced to make this duel with Black Ninja. Black Ninja will be taking him out. Effectively, no more Mercy to keep him alive. Black Ninja going to be committing the barrage, pardon me. See out this fight. And a lot of ults used here from the side of Elusion. Meanwhile, Careless Pandas holding on to a decent amount of theirs.
Yeah, Careless Pandas almost coming online with both of their tank ults, both of their DPS ults, and you have no support ults if you're Elusion. You have to win this fight if you're Careless Pandas. You have to win this one.
Yeah, I think it's now or never. We're back at 55%. This is that dangerous bit that I mentioned about the first map. It could send us to map 3 if Elusion can carry on this advantage that they have. But the real struggle here is, can Seaman get into the backline? Gecko has been so dangerous on this Roadhog, and Black Ninja has been winning every single duel. The hook barely misses onto Seaman. As Black Ninja, though, doesn't need anything. Tequin left farless. No res going to be available. Black Ninja pressuring down the health, but Bebop on the curtain. Nebby finding the rockets onto Nixaw. Closing out this fight will be Careless Pandas, only dropping 2 ultimates to win this fight.
Nebby had such a great flank, and I wasn't keeping track, but I have to say that Nixaw's fade was on cooldown because he was just taking damage from behind and was just not fading. But that's really unfortunate because that really was going in your favor. You had the Pharah taken out from the side of Careless Pandas. It's just that soldier flank was crucial.
And we've seen Black Ninja win these far duels time and time again, but he has been on the defensive. It's a little bit easier to take those out, but Kurt finding the pick on the Nebby. That body shot will be enough. As both bongos getting dropped, there's a lot of damage flying everywhere, but Black Ninja able to take out Seaman and Tequin before the barrage comes in, and Black Ninja using his own Nebby, though, will be finding him out of the sky before he's able to get any value. Gecko and Kurt will be taking out the rest of Careless Pandas.
You do have time to touch here, though. It's not completely over. You've got that Valkyrie, you've got that barrage, which can instantly turn a fight around. And it's just a matter of how do you use them.
Black Ninja all of a sudden looking like the foil to Careless Pandas yet again, but Seaman trying to take this Fire to Mercy out of the sky, but Black Ninja beating him down, saying, no, I am in charge of these skies right now. But Careless Pandas on top of the point. Infinity taking out Gecko, no more Roadhog, but the res will come out successfully. Infinity, though, trading on the player, no more main take alive for the side of Elusion. Screwy Louie, though, will be going down. That will be the most of the heals for Careless Pandas. I don't know how they're going to stay alive on this point, but they're going to need to try it. Nixal will be trying to pick out Infinity, slowly picking him down with this. Mora Infinity needs this kill soon rather than later, but they will step off the point for just long enough for it to take down. No more overtime, 100-36. We will go to last map, last point in this series.
Hey, C-Man, can we talk about that barrage? That was a barrage.
He was trying to do something, and then Black Ninja literally just moved and killed him and his Mercy.
I know what the goal was, but come on, my guy. I realize that the fair is really crucial, but the odds of you taking that out with that barrage is just... Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
And Black Ninja not having to play into a Bastion anymore. He is unleashed on this fire, though. Nebby will be the man designated to deal with him. This Widowmaker will be coming out. The question is, will the shots come in? Will the headshots come in? Will the reses be denied? Player taken down early. Nixal taken way low by a rocket, as it will be Careless Pandas looking to take point here first. Stepping down. Nebby on the high ground looking for something, but the rocket's raining in, pressuring him off of it. C-Man dropping down real low, and it will be Black Ninja, the first far to go down. Will they defend the res here, though? C-Man pressuring him down more and more. Kurt, though, will be taking out the sniper of Nebby, though. He already did his job. C-Man will be raining down damage on the backline here. The hook looks to come in, but not finding anything. Will be Gecko on the Roadhog. Elusion set up on this point, but not too much in the way of healing left for them. Nixal desperately trying to keep him alive, but the damage from C-Man is just too much. Black Ninja, though, coming in on his own, trying to do something here, taking out the far. Nebby, though, back alive. Will be denying the far that airspace, and it looks like the point will be closed out here for Careless Pandas.
I think for that fight, positioning really won for that. Ivy Cat backing up towards that train station instead of with her team really just allowed Careless Pandas to just unleash that barrage toward her, as she was just completely in the open. And obviously Kurt really taking out those snipers, did a great job of evening that fight. And it's just a matter of really, can Black Ninja or Nebby hit their shots?
Yeah, Black Ninja wants revenge now. He will be on this Widowmaker trying to take him out, but it will be Seaman. Oh, pressuring him down, but getting 2 body shots straight down. He will go. The Coalescence coming out. Black Ninja trying to find Nebby. Nebby trying to maintain this high ground as long as he can. The Widow duel, so important here to decide this point, but there's plenty enough going down here as Elusion tries to push this high ground. No more advantage left for Careless Panda. Both their DPS missing. Gecko just trying to shove them off this point. It will be the Gravitic Fluxo committed from Bebop. They believe they can win this fight. Seaman coming in with the ultimate, but he will get headshot immediately by Black Ninja trying to find the res. Is, pardon me, will be T-Quinn. And it won't go off, though. Ivy Cat picking up Nixal. And it will be Elusion winning over this point.
I think there is a positive. I mean, you do have point progress. And if you're a certain singer, you can really gain ult charge that quickly. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just, you just got to win these next ones. And Nebby's going off that Widowmaker onto that Doom, which can be huge. And really no more snipers in play, except for Kurt, who's been great so far. And Black Ninja is just, he's taking advantage of that counter pick going onto that Pharah.
And they will be taking the opposite end, maybe denying a little bit of the sidelines, but it doesn't matter because Gecko's going to be finding the hook on the Screwy Louie, taking him out bright and early, but Seaman has something to say about it. We'll be taking out with Black Ninja. Oh my goodness, raining down so much damage from above on this far. No more hit scan left to deal with him, as he will be the last man left alive, though. For Elusion, not getting down enough damage quite quickly enough. The 3-man hit squad of Bebop.
Someone breathe on that man. Jeez.
Will be falling off this map. No train hitting him required.
70%. And Nebby gonna go on that Widow. And once again, Black Ninja's gonna go back on that Widow. So I think this point goes to overtime no matter what. So if you win this, that's the entire game. And Nebby
winning it early. Anything you can do, I can do better, he says. And so it will be a massive advantage coming into this fight. Last fight territory, 90% teeing down onto the point. Nebby trying to take as much advantage of this high ground without getting picked off. Seaman, though, stuck in the backline. No Wraith form available. Looking to get picked off, but Kurt will be fighting him first. Infinity, though, taking out Nixal. No heals left for the side of him. Ivy Cat will be picking him back up, though. This looking a little bit better for Elusion. Both Coalescences being dropped. Player taking so much damage. Kurt in the front line with Player. The Player getting a massive impression hit onto him. A big 3-4 man Gravitic Flux, though, will be coming out for the side of Black Ninja back alive on this point, playing the high ground. Really finding a massive pick on the screwy Louis player. Definitely trying to stay alive. Again, these accretions, so critical for Careless Pandas. Seaman getting hooked, not going to be going down. The ultimate drop. Gecko looking to use his whole hog here, dropping every single ultimate from the side of Elusion. Will be enough to take off for this point, but Seaman has something to say about it. Putting in so much damage on this Reaper, but it won't quite be enough. 42% to 99%, ticking down on this point, going into overtime. Boy, do we have a match on our hands.
That's a clincher right there. That's something. You don't know who's gonna win that. I think if Ivy Cat was a shrivel of health away from dying, if she had gone down, the whole match would have been gone. But she had popped Valkyrie, that Coalescence healed her up right away, and they do survive. 50% to go. No more Widowmaker in play for Careless Pandas. That really seems to be hopping on and off that Tracer. You just gotta win one.
I do think this fight is won and lost by the point pressure. Oh, but Black Ninja doesn't know Seaman. What's going on? Getting down so low. Ivy Cat trying to keep him alive, but the point pressure will be there for Careless Pandas. Fighting two will be Seaman. Nixon, they're trading right back on the Sequin and Nebby. That will be the support and the beat no longer available for the side of Careless Pandas. Just trying to stay alive on this point a little bit longer. Wait for Seaman, but Seaman gets hooked by Gecko, and both the DPS dead for Careless Pandas. 81% of this point ticks down.
You gotta die. You gotta die.
You have to die. You need to recontest here as quick as possible if you're Careless Pandas.
Oh, that's massive.
So quickly, 10% here. Not but 15 seconds left. It will be a late contest for the side of Careless Pandas. Will they be able to touch?
Oh, hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen.
It will be your breath. Stay alive. He will touch the point in time. Seaman coming in, trying to find the damage on the player, but the Dragon will be coming in from Kurt looking to close out this point. Whole hog putting down so much damage, keeping right off the point. Might just be enough to win this point, but another Gravitic Flux as overtime ticks down though. All these players getting taken down to half health. The climactic music plays, but it will be Elusion closing this out. Did not
survive.
So sad if you're Careless Pandas. They tried so hard, but it will be Elusion taking this last map, denying the reverse sweep. And oh my goodness, was that an exciting game.
Oh my god. I before that, the second to last fight, I think it was the second to last fight. I want to shout out the biggest brain play I've ever seen. You had the Tracer going in the back line. You had so the Widow was distracted. So the Reaper teleported behind her, shotguns ready. Ah, I loved that so much. And as an homage, I had it going. I'd like to play the beep. Reverse sweep. No more.
No more. It dies off.
No more. The beep beep. The beep beep.
The heart rate monitor dying.
Oh yeah. I just looked up beep. I just looked up the sound effect. That's not important. What is important is that Elusion scrapes by over the Pandas, securing a great spot in the playoffs. And as we're going into the last weeks, the Pandas really looking to somehow get back in.
I think if they can play like that, they can really take out a few more of these teams who they will have coming up against them soon enough. And I don't think all is lost for Pandas. I think they have a couple matches they can win coming up. And honestly, if they keep the form like they have, you were talking about dark horses for the playoffs in the beginning of the match. There's certainly one if they can maintain that kind of form.
Mm-hmm. Pandas at the end woke. Pandas at the beginning broke.
That's exactly what it was. And as much as we're super happy for Elusion here coming out with the win, I think that match was really the story of Pandas really getting shut down, though. They will have another chance, but that'll be all she wrote for today. Elusion coming out with such a close 3-2 victory over Careless Pandas. But that'll be all we have for tonight. And we have upcoming this week, though, we do have the Iris podcast on Monday at 8:30. Renovalio versus One Last Ride will be on Sunday, October 27th at 8:30. That'll be some Discord tier action coming in for you. That'll be a fun match, Renovalio and One Last Ride, two big hitters in the Discord tier, as well as Maelstrom versus Minty Hippos on Tuesday, October 29th. Same time, same place. You know where to catch us on the stream. And so far for tonight, I have been Door at Door_OW on Twitter, and this has been my buddy Literose. Any leaving notes, my guy?
I think I'm just looking forward to what playoffs have to offer these last couple weeks. You can follow me on Twitch at Literose and on Twitter at Literose17. So That's all from me, folks.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Such an exciting match for tonight. We can't wait to see you again on Sunday for the next big match between Renovaldio and One Last Ride. Take it easy.
All right.